today. So we're going to hit record for those who can't be with us. I shouldn't have said this while I'm hitting record, but I will share that we have quite a group with us here today.
Nice.
We should have done a wave. Next time. Okay.
We have a lot of people who don't do the wave.
Well, we look bigger because of the thing that's there, right? It's good. So was I.
That's the tension.
Okay, so I'm gonna just share the screen for 1 second, and then I'm gonna introduce some of our wonderful guests. But first, we're gonna run over here, and we're gonna say, let's move this to one. Admit people who are still waiting. All right, and we're gonna just play this for a second. Great. Woo! Sotheby's does it again. Yeah, they're pretty good at what they do for sure. So anybody who wants to download that is accessible to you from the Design Vault. And yeah, you go right into the Design Vault and it is there to download. I will be sharing that also on my social today, but it's a great new video and I love it. And notice how many new countries we joined during COVID. Right? It's kind of funny. So we used to be 1,000 associates in 70 locations. We are now 1,000 associates, 1,000 offices associates. That doesn't mean, right. We got more than that. We're Premier. Hold on a second. 1,000 offices, but we're in 75 locations now. Yeah. Man, I got smacked from that. Okay, so we are the vision leader, right? And throughout the markets we serve, I'd say that Premier Sotheby's as well as Sotheby's can certainly say that, right? With definity, for sure. We're recognized as a real estate company of choice, but most important, we're committed to setting the ultimate standard within the luxury real estate market. And that's what we always strive to do each and every day. And I thank each and every one of you because I know you're out there on the front line dealing in this crazy market, trying to uphold the most ethical behavior when people are like, you know, fighting for the sales, but it's craziness. But I thank you because you are withholding not just your integrity, not the Premier Sotheby's, but Sotheby's. Each and every one of you are a representation of us, and I thank you for doing such an amazing job. So with that, I'm going to say we have some guest speakers here today, and we're going to start with Miss Carolyn Bradley. So I'm going to stop my share, and she can. Oh, Carolyn, let me see. Are you going to share your screen? Let me make sure you can. Oops, that's the
very
wrong thing.
briefly. Oops.
Come back. Share screen.
Good morning,
Okay.
everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Hi. So first, I wanted to just introduce myself and say what a. Can you hear me? Okay, Carrie?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Wonderful. I keep looking over at Bruno, and I just want to say Bruno Mars. Handsome, stage set. I just love it. I feel like I'm on the Emmys or the Oscars or something. It's really an honor to be here today. This account was a huge win for me this year personally. A little bit of background. I am a former realtor, married to a full-time realtor. So I certainly know the pain points of the sales transaction and sales cycle. Prior to working with my husband in real estate, 20 years in marketing and sales in New York City. I live in Northeast Florida with my 6-year-old, my husband, and my mom. So I have a full house and come down from Naples up and over. So my colleague Kim and I split the state of Florida, and we have Linda Ball covering the Carolinas for Premier Sotheby's. So it is really a priority this year for me to dig deep in our relationships together. And I can already tell by the energy, Carrie, I just love the energy in this office. This is right up my alley. You know, warranty is not, I hear the office, so warranty is a widget, right? It's not a sexy thing, but it's really, it's really something that proved to play a tremendous role last year and this year going forward. Why? Because sellers don't have to do much, as we know, and buyers are taking advantage of great interest rates. And consequently, some of our buyers, even in, you know, from $200,000 to $200 million homes, don't necessarily want to have to replace an HVAC system for 10 grand 30 days into their home. So this is the role that warranty plays. Cinch is a national company. We're headquartered in Boca Raton, 40 plus years in the business. My boss has been with the company 20 plus years. I have a direct line to her and to claims. So without getting too involved, because really I just want to, you know, do a nice and soft introduction and then hope to maybe have some one-on-ones with you all. It's a big office. I can't wait to come on out in person, but hopefully we can do some one-on-ones after this, because that's really when we get to know one another and figure out how to use this thing, or if you've had a bad experience or no experience, what will set us apart from your previous partner. And I think you'll find that, of course, Premier has provided the best ancillary services to the team. And I love what I do. And I do it with a level of excellence. And if I don't, I probably should get out, because it's tiring. Some of the words that came up on the screen before in the video, right? Trust, tireless. If trust and tireless aren't two words of 2020, the takeaway, you know, do toilets break on Christmas? Yeah. Was there fall through with COVID? Yeah. Were there virtual appraisals, drive-by appraisals, people foregoing home inspection, 4-point inspection? Yeah. And it continues to happen. So we want to offer this product and wrap our brain around how we're going to use it in the most effective way. 1, for our bottom line, 2, for our client relationships, and 3, so that you and I can work together and provide a level of excellence, continue on in 2021. So again, warranty, not real sexy, we're all kind of the same. We boast the largest provider network in Florida, and again in 48 states, all states. And this pretty much is all you need to know, is this page, right? Because I work for you, I'm an extension of your business practice. So anything other than this page, if Don or Bruno or Wendy says, hey, you know, Bill, seller, or Karen, buyer, I have a gal on my team, her name is Caroline, let me put you in touch with her. Let me take it from you. Any deep dive questions, any coverage questions, if they're on the fence, if they're a certain kind of client, and we'll just leave that there, that maybe needs to have a hand held through this process, or the value add, my value add. I can tell you that I will work with your clients post-close. Even if you're long gone and you represented the seller, but now something broke and the phone calls are coming through to attorney and to Carrie and to you, or whoever number they find first, loop me in and let me handle the claim. That's my job. I'm more, you know, am I a sales executive? Yes, but I'm also customer service. Okay, so let's be honest. I'm customer service too. So here are some talk tracks for sellers, talk tracks for buyers. What sets us apart, which is our home owner's insurance reimbursement, our 180-day guarantee. We have no caps, we repair to replace, which the other providers don't. And also we offer emergency lodging. So that's what sets us apart. The dollhouse is what we cover. And again, when it comes to terms and conditions and deep dive questions, let's just talk offline about that, because until it comes up, not everything is cookie cutter. Not every claim is the same, not every enrollment is the same. But primarily, we will cover a seller for up to 12 months. They pay for it at closing, transfers to the buyer for another 12 months. Day one closing begins day 1 per buyer. Okay, so we always want to pay for this thing at closing. I don't care who pays for it, seller, buyer, split it. Agent, it is RESPA compliant for you to gift this. Perhaps if you have a buyer and you want to add Premier Upgrade, which pays for permits and haul away modifications, oftentimes agents gift that to their buyers. Agent is responsible to enroll this thing. Agent is responsible to get the invoice to closing where it gets paid. Anytime you have an issue, again, I love what I do, and my role, paramount, I believe, is to mitigate the 800 number and the .com. Anytime you have to call out to the 800 number of the .com, loop me in first. Loop me in first. That's my job, and I love what I do. I really do. I love what I do. I'm available. You know, people say that, oh, I answer my phone. Big deal. Everybody answers their phone. Everybody answers texts. The point is I'm accountable and I'm responsible. Nights, weekends, when you all are doing your work, I'm on work, right? I'm on, not from 9 to 5. If you're in a driveway, you're in the basement, you're in your car, you're at a listing appointment, Sunday, 2 o'clock at a cafe or restaurant, call me. Call me. Don't not bring it up because you don't know or maybe had a bad experience. Again, I know I've said that before, but let me be the hero when it comes to home warranty and provide the value add. I just need you to endorse it, check it off, suggest it, and make it part of your package and offering as a suite of services that we provide, because it is saving the day. I can't tell you how it's saving the day, especially this past year. It's unbelievable. So this is our brochure. Carrie, new ones are coming out to all offices with my branding. And again, page 3, it's pretty much all you need to know here. And I think that's it for me. If anybody has any questions or comments, I know I've hooked up with some of you already, but
Who's at the airport? I'm sorry.
I am. I am. I'm on my way to Bruno's. There's more inventory on Mars. I got to market it.
Somebody's ready to get in trouble.
Okay, Carolyn Bradley, your flight is leaving now.
Delta flight 253. So as you can see, so proof to the point, right? I work everywhere, anytime. I'm always on.
Well, I have a question for you, Carolyn. So I noticed I last night signed up on the dashboard on Cinch for agents. I signed up with one of my offices. Is that the best way to enroll your customer?
So Carrie, thank you. Very good question. And I will send out an email that's just really short and sweet that Carrie can distribute to the team. We have 4 paths of enrollment. You do have it on forms. It's my understanding that Sandy has deployed this enrollment application on your forms. For those of you who like a website, .loop, yes, sorry, .loop, www.cinchrealestate.com, click enroll now. Call me, email me. We do also have an editable application form that you can do on your phone and email into my company. We also have an 800 number. If you need an invoice right now, right then and there, you can call it in and an invoice will be generated and emailed to you instantaneously. Again, coverage is instantaneous for a seller. The moment you enroll, they're covered. The moment you close, buyer is covered. There's no grace or waiting periods. We just want to make sure everything passes home inspection, right? So we were talking about ethical. This isn't lipstick on a pig. It's not schlocky Shlomo, and I wouldn't expect anything less from Premier. We do need to make sure that things are working when we do enroll this thing. Otherwise, coverage could be sticky and tricky if red flags are drawn with a claim being placed. We don't want to do it after the fact. We always want to do it before the fact. So with a seller always is really important too. But I will send that email out, Carrie, with the 4 paths of enrollment. So website, portal, .me, 800 number, lots of different ways depending on your scenario. And the invoice is very simple. It's 1 page. And again, your responsibility to get it to closing, whoever that is, to get it funded.
Terrific.
By the way, we have 30 days post-close to enroll a buyer and to modify or pay for a buyer. But a seller, it has to be at closing. Yeah.
Now, the seller, my understanding is if you're paying for the buyer, the seller's portion is free. Is that correct, Caroline? How much is it for the policy for the seller?
Both policy, it's either, they're both under 500, depending on the deductible. It's one comprehensive package with 2 different price points. And the different price points is a $200 deductible or a $100 deductible. So $389 to $44. And then we have some extra layers of coverage, washer dryers, $50. I'm going to just say this because I think it's a better narrative. It's free for the seller until closing. it always gets paid for at closing and then transfers to the buyer. If the seller is
it's-
not providing it, yes. go ahead.
It's really the buyer's policy, if you think like that. You're buying one warranty that the seller gets to use during the sale
Right.
process, and then it gets transferred to the buyer at closing. So that's essentially you're
Correct.
starting the one policy immediately, so the seller is actually covered with it, and then we transfer
Yes.
that coverage to the buyers.
That doesn't
So
make
whoever's
Correct.
paying for it, buyer, seller, agent, agents, whatever, however that's being done is irrelevant. Doesn't get paid for until closing, but you're only buying one policy, which
That's correct.
essentially, what?
And when does the 12 months start?
And the
At
12
closing?
months starts at closing, correct?
Day of
Yes.
closing for the buyer. Now, let's
So-
say you represent the buyer and have no seller, but the seller's not doing anything with old equipment, but it passed home inspection. No credits are being given, no price reductions. Buyer's a little apprehensive, HVAC is old. You institute a buyer's policy, same way. You enroll it, you get an invoice, and it's effective from the day of closing for 12 months. The only difference is the buyer has 30 days to pay for it and 30 days to enroll post-close. Because once the seller's gone after closing, we can't chase money. So we always make sure we have a hard stop with the seller. We have a little bit of wiggle room for the buyer. But the seller doesn't necessarily get this for the buyer. The seller also reaps the benefit that if stuff breaks down while they're in Dallas and their house in Orlando is for sale that you're selling, they're covered. And that kind of segues me too, that if you have clients that are, I cover 2 states, New Jersey and Florida. So if we have folks in New Jersey who didn't come down due to COVID or travel restrictions to their homes in Florida, my agents are calling them saying, hey, that house is sitting empty. Would you like for us to put a home warranty on it to protect it? And the same with your Floridians. If you have people down here that aren't going to their home in Denver or Tennessee or upstate New York, ask them, would you like a home warranty on that property while it's sitting empty? It's a good way to reach out, right? You have a reason to call and reach out because the houses are sitting empty in extreme temperatures. So,
Caroline, is there a limit on square footage?
no square footage.
So it could
limits.
be-
We do have,
A $10 million house that's 10,000 square feet, it's the same price for that policy as it would be for a $250,000, 800 square foot home?
it is, with one, yeah, it is, but with one little exception. Well,
Okay.
with one little exception in Florida only, and that is we only cover 2 zones in Florida. So if they have a 6-zone home, meaning 6 HVACs, we only cover 2. We have a
Comfortable
$3,000
with
cap per, yeah. And
Okay, I'm sorry, you're
$3,000
six
for every
owner, you only got
appliance.
2 covered.
Right.
Six or 2 that go bad.
Yeah, first 2 that go bad.
Yeah, first 2 that go bad. I think
Okay.
that's
I
okay,
get-
all right,
I get 'em.
awesome. Yeah,
And
wow.
3,000 for every appliance, so 3,000 for a fridge, 3,000 for an oven, 3,000 for a microwave. When it comes to dollar amounts or claims amounts, there are no caps. If I have to replace a $12,000 HV unit, HVAC, HVAC unit, we do. We don't cover splits, those Samsung or Fujitsu
Yeah.
splits. If it plugs in, it's not considered a mechanical, right? You can purchase extra hot water heaters. Some homes have multiple hot water heaters. We cover them. Washer dryer for buyer or seller is though $50 extra. I don't know why, but in this territory it is. I don't know why. Nowhere else.
I don't
but
know.
Florida.
I guess we wash a lot of clothes because people sweat a lot. I don't know. Well, does anybody
we-
else have
and we
any
don't-
questions for Caroline?
Yes, I didn't see. Okay. Hi, Caroline. I
Hi,
didn't.
hi, everybody.
Wow.
Mary, I have a question.
Hey, you gotta wait, man.
Go ahead.
I'm just kidding. But I didn't see in the picture a solar panel. I know there's some different stuff that's going on with solar panels. Is that also covered?
It's not. It is not. Great question. So we don't,
Right.
so just on that note, we don't cover roofs. We don't cover solar. We don't cover saltwater converters. Okay, we cover the pool filter. If they buy pool coverage, we cover filter, spa, and heater, but not
Okay.
converters. And by the way, with HVAC, just because I have it on my own Lennox system, if you have a humidifier or air purifier in the HVAC system, we don't cover that. That's not a primary mechanical. So What we do have though, on a sidebar to that question, if someone places a homeowner's claim in the first year, okay, we will reimburse up to $500 of their deductible. So talk to me on the side about that. So let's say their solar panels are covered under homeowners and one rips off and they replace it. We'll reimburse them $500 towards their deductible for their homeowners. That's the HDIR benefit on this page. It's really, really awesome. It kind of mitigates why we don't do structural items. Again, we're mechanical, homeowners is structural. That's the major difference.
And quick questions, water softener, same situation, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
What was your
No
question?
water softener.
Who had a question? Was it Alejandra? Who had the question?
I think Alejandro had a question.
Yeah, it was my question. It was in regards to, and I know Carrie knows that situation, and I think I kind of jumped on that. But so I'm representing the seller, and I'm also representing the buyer in the transaction. The buyer asks for home warranty from the seller, and I guess according to the package that we have with Sotheby's, is that going to be covered by like the seller, or how would we pay for that in a sense?
Well, who's
Who's
offered
asking
it?
for
Did
it
you
and who's
offer it? Did the
offering it?
seller offer it?
Yes, the seller offered it to the buyer.
So the seller's paying. for
Seller's
it.
gonna pay for it. Title's gonna write the check out of seller's transaction funds.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But enroll it as soon as possible so that the seller's covered. It always helps to have the seller covered prior to close, because then we have a history on a house.
And
So-
prior to inspection.
But yeah, and prior to home inspection. But by the way, have people called me from title fighting over a pipe, over a hot water heater, like at the 10th hour? And I've gotten a text, Caroline, can you enroll a policy quick? Absolutely, and I'll email it over to title. So again, lots of wiggle room. Save my number. I'm going to send it out to Carrie post this meeting. Lots of ways to use this thing, right? I mean, it's a tool. It's a tool. It's not just a widget.
Caroline,
get
I think
funny
you're
at the
bringing
end.
sexy back.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Does anybody else have any questions for Caroline? She's a wealth of knowledge, so while we have her. Well and septic, is that included? It's probably homeowners, but
We do offer well and septic. Yes, we do. And extra water, gas, sewer line coverage, extra sub pump coverage. That would be an additional line item. $100, $60, pools, $200. So it's not in our base plan, but yes, we do offer it.
thank you. Anybody else have any other questions for Caroline?
Just that one.
If the homeowner is buying it, the seller's buying it for the buyer, but the buyer waives their right to inspection, which is stupid, and we're obviously not representing them. Anyway, if that happens, there's no issues with warranty, is there?
There could be. There could be if they move in and 2 days later they place an HVAC claim that they have no air conditioning. It might draw a red flag because we do reserve the right to ask for home inspection. So what we would like to have at that point is some kind of service record, maintenance record. We don't do service or maintenance. It's $120 to do a maintenance on an HVAC. So agent, if that's happening, you might want to suggest to your buyer or seller prior to closing to get a service on the equipment, just so that maybe they don't want to spend money for a home inspection, fine. But at least get a service on the equipment so that when they move in, they do have air or heat. And then we do have a record. I will use that with a claim if there is no home inspection. Also, if you have folks outside of again, this is a real estate channel product. If you have folks outside of a sale or a purchase, meaning outside of a transaction, let's say, Carrie, you want to put one on your home. There's a 30-day grace. That's in lieu of home inspection, and you get $50 off if you want a warranty for your own primary home. Or know
All
somebody who
right,
wants a warranty.
so we're all gonna call you after this call. We're all gonna join and get our homes all set up.
After you land.
After you. Tammy, let's go.
So just to make sure I understand, so if you have Caroline, a seller, and then the buyer comes in and they go under contract, we can, and the home warranty is put in place, but the inspection hasn't happened yet, and through the inspection, something is found out, the HVAC has an issue we didn't know about, then what is covered? Is it covered or is it not covered because the home hasn't closed? If no repairs needed?
Great question. Yes, it's covered. So at that point, the seller would call the 800 number or go online or call me. We would place a claim. They would pay the deductible, which is also called a service call fee, just like they would a plumber or an electrician. We would connect them with service provider. Technician would come out. We would repair or replace the item, and you're done. And you're done. Now,
Inspection,
All
wow.
5 of your homes, how many you have? Yeah, anybody who has property management, anybody who's got their own portfolio, you're gonna call, get them all situated on Cinch home warranty.
yeah.
Wonderful, well,
Any
thank you.
sellers right now, I would probably institute a home warranty if there's questionable items in the house, but they're still working. I would definitely recommend it. Yeah.
Anybody else have any other questions before we let Carolyn get on her flight? Well, thank you, Caroline. I appreciate, Carrie, did you have
Wait,
something?
does Carrie, do you have a question? Hi.
Yeah, hi. Are you gonna send out your phone number and all the details?
Oh, yes,
Okay,
yes.
I'm gonna
Carrie
forward
will
it to
get an
everybody.
email. Yeah,
perfect.
and I can't wait
No,
to see
Carrie, I'm gonna
everybody
let
in
you
person.
guess.
Yeah.
I need it. I need her right now.
I think everybody
I'll
does, so
take care-
don't worry.
I'll take care of it.
Caroline, I
in
do
this
have
one, right?
135 agents, so just, I hope you have your voicemail empty and you're ready to get calls.
I do. Again, you all are my priority. Premier Saturdays is my priority this year. So I really, really mean that. I really look forward to fostering relationships with each and every one of you. Thank you for
Well,
this time.
thank you
Carrie.
so much. I really appreciate it. Have a great flight. And I'm sure we will bring
Thank
you
you.
back and have more questions as we start, having services going on with you. So thank you again. Have a
Thank you.
great rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Okay, so we also have with us today, Mr. Phil Logus. Are you still here, Mr. Phil?
I am.
Okay,
Here
I
I
don't know
am.
where
Can
you
you
are,
hear me?
but, okay, there you are. Okay,
Here
so
I am.
you've seen all sorts of crazy go on. We see crazy on our side, you see crazy on your side. So what interesting tidbit of fact would you like to share with us?
Well, I would like to talk about briefly when you go on your listing appointment, making sure you're dealing with the right person, because we're getting a few probate issues or people dealing with a realtor who are not the legal title holders of the property. So I wanted to, I don't know if you can share your screen. I'm on my cell phone, so
Yeah.
but you can. If you want to
Yeah.
share your screen, I'll just give a quick 2-minute dissertation of where to start. And
What do you want to put on?
oh, I'm sorry. So if you go to my website, loguslaw.com,
Okay, hold on.
there is
So weird, right?
No, it's good to see because I seem to like, I'm the only one that ever has a computer issue.
Oh, no. Okay, there you go, Phil.
okay. So if you go to resources at the top,
Mm-hmm.
and then you click on the resources, where it says state government links there, if you
Yeah.
click on that, and this is something that everybody should use, because this is every county in the state of Florida. And so let's, what I'm going to do is I'm going to deal with a closing that we just recently had. Everything's public record, so it doesn't matter. So click on Orange County.
All right. Okay. I
And
know,
so
like,
you can see there that it's got your property appraiser, your
Yeah.
recording office, tax collector, mapping, aerials. It's and that's the same for every county. So let's go to the property appraiser.
I know, like, come on, you can do it.
It's not my website.
I know, it's so slow. I'm gonna agree to terms because I have to.
Yeah.
If it lets me. All right, agree, I agree. I'm still agreeing.
Don't
Don't show
Click
it
the
again.
little orange.
No way.
Click the orange X.
I did. I have to get the
click
little
the-
checkbox. Never show me that again.
There.
Okay.
Okay. So now type in this address where it says property address.
Yep.
12134.
Mm-hmm.
And then Aztec.
Aztec Rose, this one?
Yeah, that's it. That's the closing we recently did. And then click the search button on the right next to it. Up there, yeah.
I'm pretty quick. I'm pretty clicking. Don't worry. Okay.
All right, so this tells you everything you need to know about the property. But what I wanted to show you is, it tells you the owner of record. But then if you click where it says sales analysis, see the tab right there. That will show you the last vesting deed. And if you click on the number 2015-0355, that will take you to the property appraiser, the comptroller's website.
Yeah, you can actually see the deed. That's awesome.
Yeah. Sorry, I had a call coming in. So then you can click on view the deed. And so this is the point that I'm trying to make to you. So then you can print out the property appraiser's website. You have your deed. There's the deed. Okay. So now we know our legal description. We know that the owner is Mr. Weir and in Lake Nona. And then what you can do is you can simply print those out or PDF them and send them to me. We get a lot of these where there's a trust or where there's multiple owners or where there's a probate or somebody died. Print out the property appraiser's website, print out the last deed and send it to me. And I will tell you who you need to deal with. And if it's a situation where it's got to go into probate, that's not the end all be all. It doesn't kill your deal, but we can at least advise on how to structure the deal if it's going into probate. We can refer a probate lawyer, and depending on certain things, we can get a personal representative appointed and then push the deal through, depending on whether they have a will, they don't have a will. With respect to a trust, we can talk about that too. Remember that, or at least know that a trust doesn't defeat homestead. So even if the property's in a trust and they live there, you have to have their wife join in. In summary, send me the information. I'll point you in the right direction, but this is a good starting point on how to kind of research the property. And again, every county is there on my website. There's also open permit searches, some other things that you should do before you get to your listing appointment. So you can properly interview the owner, or at least who you believe to be the owner.
It's true.
Again, any questions from anybody?
Yes. If, let's say, 4 siblings own a property, Phil, and one of the siblings have a power of attorney from all of them,
Yes.
when he signs a contract, can he just sign once as himself, or does he actually have to sign, let's say, if he represented 3 of his siblings, he's going to sign for himself once and another 3 times for one of each?
Yeah. So it's a very good question. A couple of things. First thing, send me the power of attorney to review. Okay, because the power of attorneys have to be executed with certain formalities in Florida. So they may be from New Jersey, but they have a a power of attorney that doesn't conform, and we can't use. So so to answer your question, yes and no. Yes, they have to sign for everybody. They have to sign for everybody because that's the proper way to do it. Now, the case law in Florida says that I can sign a contract to sell you Disney World, and the contract's enforceable as long as on the day of closing I can perform. Okay, so could you get the one person with the power of attorney to sign? Yes. Is the contract enforceable? Yes. But he would have to perform on behalf of his siblings on the closing date. Now, what issue does that create? And I'm probably going down a rabbit hole here, is if the buyer has to sue for specific performance, it's going to be more difficult if he does not sign on behalf of all of his siblings.
So the best thing to do would
best
be,
things to get him to sign 4 times.
So the best thing to do, I'm assuming, would be to submit all the power of attorneys over to you. So you'll make sure that we have good power of attorneys and
right,
we actually even have an offer or something, right?
Right. That's right.
Thank you so much.
And you can always have a signature page for a contract. Because there's initial lines down there doesn't mean that everyone's got an initial. But if the buyer initials, the seller should initial. If the buyer doesn't initial, you don't have to initial. So it just has to be consistent.
Thank you, Phil.
And I'm going to ask a question too, Phil. So let's say you have, I don't know, 3 companies that own a parcel. Not that we don't know that. And maybe there's one signatory for all 3. We can have that one signatory sign the contract for everybody, correct? Now, do you recommend
That's right.
that we have?
Do
you recommend that we include
president
a
of
SunBiz form for each corporation with the file?
right, if the officer of one company is an officer for all 3, he can sign on behalf of all 3. I would have different signature blocks for each company, but
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so and so signing for such and such company, so and so signing for such and such company.
That's
yes?
right. That's
And then the
that's
initials
right.
are just their initials. Okay, great.
That's right. And there's also issues on when you look up those deeds, sometimes there will be a certificate of title. There might be, other issues where you need to call me is, when there's a home builder and you want to make an offer and their deed is for a tract of land that's subsequently been platted. Those are things that I can help you with.
Thank you so much, Phil. Does anybody have any other
Okay.
questions? All right. Well, thanks, Phil, as always.
All
You are
right.
amazing.
Have a
Everybody
nice
go to
week.
Phil's website and get prepared for the next listing, because listings are what we're after. So thanks, Phil.
Take care.
And now
You're
we have
welcome.
our
Bye-bye.
wonderful new bride, Miss Maude Stefanski, who has to change her name on her thing. So you can go ahead and share with us, take this screen away and share with us our new My Marketing Matters Home Life.
All right, awesome. Thank you for having me on here, Carrie. You have quite the array of awesome guest speakers today. It's nice to see some of your smiling faces. Some people are hiding behind their pictures, but that is okay. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with all of you. And I just wanted to briefly re-walk everyone through the new My Marketing Matters Home Life platform. I've gotten a lot of really good questions about this over the past few days since we launched. And I just really want to make sure that everyone is super comfortable going into the platform and placing their order. So the first place that I'm starting off is, of course, as always, on our My Hub. And remember that Home Life is going to live within My Marketing Matters. So you're just going to click that big gray tile for My Marketing Matters, and you're going to go right into your account. So once you're in here, on the left-hand side, you'll see there's a new tab under our menu, and it says Home Life Farming Campaign. All right, so once you click on there, you'll be on the exact page where you can actually preview the products, You can get pricing estimates, and you can reserve your products. So let's do a little quick overview here. If we scroll down, you're going to start to see some small preview photos of each product. And then if you want to look at any of the products in depth, you know, if you want to see what's included in there, is it just market updates? Does it have local event information? You can actually click on any of the products and you'll have this nice larger sample appear. So you can click through. For example, this one's got agent information, area events, as well as market information. All right, so remember you can click on each one of these to see exactly what that product is. So in addition to that, you're going to get a nice description right below the product of the key highlights for that product. So the size, the format of the product, as well as the lowest price you can get that product for. And keep in mind that for products 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, you do have a minimum quantity required of 200. So you want to make sure you're at least hitting 200 homes with these products, or else My Marketing Matters will not allow the order to complete. All right, so these first 5 products are also the quote unquote exclusive products. What does this mean? So say I am targeting the neighborhood of Isleworth, and I draw my outline on the map for the boundaries of Isleworth. I can select any of those 5 products. So say I select the Premier newsletter. If somebody else goes in after I've placed my order and they also outline Isleworth, when they go to select their products, they'll be able to select products 2, 3, 4, and 5. But product number 1, that newsletter, is no longer going to be available because I've already subscribed to it.
Whoa.
So that's what we mean by exclusive.
Whoa.
Nice.
And Mo, to your
So-
point, if you said, I'm only going to do the west side of Isleworth, I could come in and take the
Get
east
in a
side of
hurry.
Isleworth.
Will
Exactly.
Will
So
it show me that this part is
that
no longer
work?
open and I can take this part, or do I have to play around?
So it's not going to show you what's already taken, but when you make your outline, if you include in your outline an area that is already taken, it will let you know that some of those homes are not available. So it's once you draw your outline, that's where you're going to see what's available and what's not.
So I'm assuming that's not delivered through the EDDM, correct, Maud?
That's correct. So these are not delivered EDDM. As you're checking out, you're going to be able to select between Pre-Cert Standard or First Class. So just to give y'all a little quick recap, I sent an email out, I think 2 days ago, regarding the difference between Pre-Cert Standard and First Class. Pre-Cert Standard will get your piece there to the recipient within 5 to 14 business days from the time it's printed. And if there are any invalid addresses at all, you will not be getting those back. First Class, however, will get your orders there within 1 to 3 business days from the time of printing. And again, if there's any bad or invalid addresses, you will get those pieces sent back to you, so you know that you have some invalid addresses that you may not want to mail to.
Are they
So,
trying to make sure? I think that makes it very clear which one you should do. Thank you, Mo. That was great.
Yeah, you got it. It's a little bit of a price increase when you do First Class, but honestly, like if you're looking at a quantity of 200, it's not going to be all that much more. So speaking of pricing, on here, you can always click Estimate Pricing. And I'm actually going to share my screen a different way here so you can see that. So you'll get, sure, what's your question?
So if, let's say I get the number 1 to send out, and then Bruno would like to send out number 1 as well, when can he start sending that? So I know that now he's blocked from sending that in that neighborhood. He can only send the 2, 3, 4, 5. But when does it go back to 0 that he can, or anyone else can go in and send the same one I sent?
That's a really good question. So when you subscribe to any of these products, you're locked in for 12 mailings. So bear with me here. This means that you can either do 12 monthly mailings, which would lock you in for 1 year, or you can do every other month. So 12 mailings at every other month would lock you in for 2 years. So it really just depends on the frequency that you select. So if you selected to send every month, after 1 year, you would have the opportunity to renew your subscription. And if you don't, then the second agent would have the opportunity to go in and pick it up.
Wonderful.
That makes sense?
Yes.
I have a question about that.
No
Go ahead,
problem. Did I hear someone else has a
quick
question?
Yeah, Rafe.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey.
If you select every other month, so if I pick 2 different neighborhoods and select them both as every other month, is there any way to ensure that every month one is being hit?
Yeah.
So the way that you would do that, there is a way to do it. It's a little bit of a complex process to set up, if you will. So say neighborhood number 1, you want to hit in April, right? So you would set up your order right now and it would hit in April. And then if you do every other month, it would then hit again in June. If you want neighborhood number 2 to start receiving your subscription in May, you would have to wait until about mid-April to place your subscription. So you would have to wait about a month until you go ahead and order that product.
Yeah, true.
There's no way to order and decide, you know, I want it to start on this day, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I have a question.
Okay.
One more question.
Hello,
All
Moon.
right. Hey.
My question is, if you are farming maybe 5 smaller neighborhoods to add up to the 200 minimum, how does that work? Or are all the publications looking the exact same, or is it just neighborhood specific?
So if you have smaller neighborhoods that do not add up to 200, unfortunately, those neighborhoods cannot receive these products. My Marketing Matters has told us the 200 minimum is like that, that's it, that's staying. So what you could do though, is there is a 6th product in this campaign, and that is the Pre-Cert campaign postcard. This one has a 50 home or owner minimum. So if your smaller neighborhoods do fit that minimum number, that might be more ideal. The biggest difference with these is instead of outlining the neighborhoods on a map, you upload your own mailing list. So this product is actually also perfect if you have a sphere of influence that you want to stay in front of. So maybe past customers or your friends and family, if you want to hit them monthly or every other month, this would be perfect for them too. So just to kind of give you an overview here, again, you can click on it and preview all of these postcards. There's going to be 12 postcards and you can send them each month for 1 year or every other month for 2 years. And you'll see that the biggest difference here is these do not have market information. They're more so branding postcards. They talk about our company, our marketing, our global network, different things like that.
Or we do it together.
Does that help to answer the question?
Yes, thank you, Mo. Does anybody else have any other questions in regards to our wonderful new home life? Remember, guys, there are other geographic farming options on here. There's also that we can sit with Mode Still and create our own custom series and have them uploaded too. So it's not like you lost anything. You just added to the wonderful opportunities. What's great, in my opinion, about home life is set and forget, right? It does all the work for you. And I would suggest, because this is how my mind thinks, if I wanted to really hit Isleworth, because I'm taking it over, sorry guys, and, and I'm really thinking maniacally, sorry, let's just not tell any other office. We can do it within our own office. No, I'm just kidding. But, right, if I said I want that newsletter piece every other month, okay, so I'm doing that, January, March, that kind of thing. And then I pick one of the other pieces and I do that February, like the off ones, right? I now have 2 products for 2 years and they're getting something and something different from me every month. I would probably do that.
Exactly. And you can definitely do that. I've already heard of some agents planning to do that. So it's a great idea. As Carrie mentioned, if you're looking at these products and you're saying, oh, that's not quite what I want to send out, I still want something custom. Come to me. We can still have our designers create something entirely custom for you. We'll upload it into your My Marketing Matters. The only difference is As Carrie mentioned, Home Life will auto send for you, so you don't have to think about it. Whereas if we create the custom material and upload it into your My Marketing Matters account, that means that every month or every other month, you'll want to set a reminder for yourself to go in and place your order. So again, either way is totally fine. We're still here to create custom stuff. We just think this is a great tool, as Carrie mentioned, as a set it and forget it sort of thing.
Okay.
And keep in mind, guys, those of you who have worked with me and picked your communities, which is the majority of you guys, we downloaded your list from Remind, right? We have it uploaded in My Marketing Matters. Every time we sell a home, no matter where it is, we're sending it to that community with how we were able to help the seller sell, right? You can still be sending them other pieces using Home Life and then remind them how awesome you are in selling. Or to Ray's point, if you want to do a different community, maybe you set Home Life up on one community and that other community you use for all of your sold listings, that $200 credit that we upload and send the solds always to that same community. Because the most important thing with any kind of targeted prospecting and geographic farming is consistency. If you send one here to this community and one to this community and then they never hear from you again, you're not getting anything from that. So we've got to use these tools, you know, in the best way, the most strategic way, which is consistency. So that's why if you haven't gotten together with me and picked your community that you're hyper, you know, you might use your hyper targeted community with the just solds, and you might use the Home Life for your farming. Remember the difference. Farming is, it's slow, you're branding, you're building trust, you're getting to see that you're the expert, and eventually they'll start calling you. It's not an immediate thing. Targeted prospecting, we search to see who do we think we have the best chance of trying to find sales in, and then let's give them reasons about why they want to sell and why they want to use us to do it. It's a different story. It's not branding, we're targeting, we're specifically choosing them. So we want to make sure that we're using all of our tools and resources in different ways, right? So Home Life is not meant for that. Home Life is meant for farming. Anybody?
Perfect. And oh, does someone have a question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Please.
Yes, I do.
I'm sorry, somebody else before me. Go ahead, please.
Oh, thanks, Bruno. Yeah, quick question, Maud, on the addresses that this gets sent to. Is the address that it actually sends to going to be the street address of the property, or is it the mailing address that is on file with the county records?
I'm gonna check on that for you because I don't 100% know the answer, but I want to say that you should have the option to select either the property address or the mailing address. The reason I say that is because typically on My Marketing Matters, they do give you that choice, but let me make a note of that and I'll get back to you with a certain answer.
Okay, great. And so if there's any international addresses in there, will it automatically block those out, or how would that handle that?
That is a very good question. I'm not sure on that answer, but I'll reach out to My Marketing Matters and get some clarity for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for those good questions.
Well,
And Bruno, I think you had some questions.
Yes, my question is about payments. Okay. So do we have an option to prepay for all 12 in advance if we wanted to, or we get charged every time the mailing is sent out?
That's also a very good question. At this time, there is no option to prepay for everything. Basically, when you check out, like when you initially set up the subscription, it'll ask you to put in your credit card information. And then every time that a mailer is sent out, it will charge that credit card. So speaking of payments, also a common question I've gotten is, can we use our My Marketing Matters vouchers on these items? And the answer at this time is no. You do have to set it up solely with a credit card.
Thank you.
Well, all great questions. Does anybody have anything else for Mode?
I had one. Hey, Mode.
Hey.
Is it possible, like, if you know there's an agent in the mailing list, can you remove like specific addresses?
Yep, really good question. So as you're going through the checkout process, you're going to have the opportunity to, so basically you're going to select your outline on a map, and then it's going to break it down for you by street. From that, you can either delete entire streets, or if there's a certain address on a specific street that you want to delete, you can click on the street name and it'll open up every address included in that street. And you can click the little trash can to the left of any specific address you want to remove. Another thing that you can do is you're going to see that there's going to be a tab at the top that says do not mail list. If you want to create a spreadsheet with, maybe 10, 15, 20, however many addresses that you specifically do not want anything mailed to, you can upload that spreadsheet into the do not mail list. And if those addresses are included in your outline, My Marketing Matters will remove them and not mail to them.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great questions. One point, Mode, can you share? I know that we had a question from Maria Quintero about being able to show that there's pools, like a pool home in Vizcaya, for example. Can you address that?
Yes, so I actually talked to Maria about this yesterday, and I spoke with My Marketing Matters about this yesterday. So we were basically wondering if there's a way to add in similar criteria that you would on the MLS. So whether it's, pool, yes or no, square footage, price, different things like that. At this time, that is not something that is available to be selected, but our rep at My Marketing Matters said that this is something that they are in conversation about. So it is potentially something they will be adding in the future. So as I learn more and as I know some updates on that, obviously I'll update all of you as well.
And
about drawing a map, do you have to Mode be specific to a neighborhood? Or let's say I'm thinking of where I am and there's Belmere and there's the reserve at Belmere. So they're right beside each other. So I don't have to be neighborhood specific.
Select both of
really?
them.
Yeah, okay,
Yep.
so it's really just wherever we outline.
Yeah.
If it makes sense for the material, it
Yeah.
doesn't have to, good.
Exactly. And
So if the
so
small
on the
community-
material, yeah, so you can either select just one neighborhood, you can select two neighborhoods together, or, sometimes there might be homes that are kind of scattered around and they're not within specific neighborhoods. That's okay. You can still outline and include them.
Wonderful. Great questions. Anybody else have anything for Mode? Well, Mode, as always, what was that?
The recorded training is really good for everyone. A lot of these questions are talked about in detail, and specifically on the training. It's just really cool to see how it will actually happen real time.
Yeah, and thanks, Dexter. Thanks for mentioning that. We did have an awesome training recorded by our rep at My Marketing Matters. So our true expert, the woman who basically launched this. And right here, you're actually going to see a little tab for recorded training. So if you want to go back and take a look at it, you can see it there. Or you can, of course, always ask me for that training, or I'm happy to host trainings too. So y'all let me know what you need, what kind of support you need, and we're here for you.
And we will, because we know that and we love you. So yay, thank you, Mode. All right, so I know I have like a minute over already, but I'm gonna hit really fast, and you guys know I can do it because I talk really, really fast. Okay. Again, this is a really cool, it's part of that video. They have, actually, if you saw, I posted on Instagram, there's a little slide through. I also posted on Facebook. They have a wonderful new social media pieces available to us on Design Vault that talks about what the brand did, how many millions and billions we sold, both in referrals as well as a company. I mean, 2.9 billion in global volume, coupled with our 7.1 billion. That's pretty great.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but for ease of downloading, we also added all of these assets along with the video to the Insight social media library. Yay! So you can go there and download it real easily.
Awesome, even better, even better. If you are on Design Vault, though, you can customize your last page. And then when you're using this on social media, I highly recommend that you bring it somewhere else. Call to action. This is talking about how the brand is different, how the brand can elevate you. 2.9 billion in referral sales alone. Guys, that's huge. Do we sell within our brand? All day long. Sotheby's to Sotheby's. So if you want to see how taking your property global can help you, click here and bring them somewhere on your website, right? So don't miss that opportunity. If you're using this on Instagram, if you're using this on Facebook, don't forget your calls to action. A lot of times I'm seeing you guys sharing our stuff, which I love, but I don't see calls to action. I don't see anybody bringing them anywhere for lead capture. right? That's like my phrase, lead capture, lead capture. So make sure you're bringing them back to your website and a place where maybe you have more information about our global media marketing plan. You have some great videos about what we do different as a brand, as a company, as an agent. Have your own videos. Like, I love that. People want to get to know you. At the end of the day, people work with you because they like you, they trust you, and they believe in you. Sotheby's opens doors. Premier Sotheby's creates all the pieces. You are the one that creates the relationship, right? So don't leave that part out of your social media. All right, I'm talking fast. Okay, moving on. Okay, that's where it is in Design Vault. Woo! Nicole Kidman. She is our keynote speaker for GNE. So even though she won't be in person like Gwyneth Paltrow was all the way, yeah, Gwyneth Paltrow, yeah, but she's gonna be great because we'll get to see her much closer than we saw Gwyneth, right? So definitely, we want to make sure we're all signing up as soon as we get him invites. I did not get any. Did anybody? No, I don't think it's come out yet. As soon as it does, sign up because. Do you want to open the door, Peter?
He's in detention.
Okay. I know Barcelona's coming, but there's a door here, guys, and I'm like, I know. Okay. I'm like, I feel so bad. I'm like, hello. Okay, couple things, hitting quick. Loop, I have added a folder. For those of you who missed my Top Gun training on Monday, it was about multiple offers and escalation clauses. This is the environment we're in. We've got to adjust to where we're at. We want to win offers, and we want to make sure if we're representing the sellers that we're handling the multiple offers in the most ethical, clean, professional way possible. So I have added in Loop multiple offers folder. Within this folder, you have a couple cool things. One is the escalation clause. If you need an escalation clause, everybody knows what it is, right? It's eBay. Okay, that's what it is. It's eBay for homes. Okay, what you're essentially saying is we're coming in at 500. We'll be willing to go $1,000 increments or $5,000 increments up to 530. Let's say that's it. If they get another offer that comes in above, they have to present that offer to you by crossing off the buyer's information, and then your offer will take precedence. It goes 5,000 above whatever that offer was. Okay. However, there's rules. If you're representing the seller and you say, hey, we have an offer, it's with an escalation clause. Do you want to accept this? What does this mean? Can they accept other offers? Anybody? Yes, you came to my training. Yes, they can accept other offers, but they can't counter. Why can't they counter? It's like I'm trying to now bring up the price because I know what you're offering, right? That's have my cake and eat it too. Not good. The other one is they can't then say, okay, yeah, I'll take that. Oh, Maria sends me an offer. Tammy sends me an offer. Oh, I like this. I'm going to call for highest and best. I already know Rafe's going up to 530. How can I call for highest and best? What is that? It's like having your cake and eating it too. Right. So the seller has to decide, do I want to accept an escalation clause and not offer highest and best and not counter? Or do I say, you can put in your highest and best offer. I'm going to do highest and best. We'll be looking at that on Sunday or whatever. Right? Sometimes that might be better for the seller. It depends. If you're the buyer, sure, why not? But remember, you're telling them your highest offer. Right. And that's why there's rules about what the seller can and can't do. I'm telling you guys this because A, we are seeing this everywhere, and B, because I'm seeing other people who have the listings doing it wrong. Right. So we need to know what should be done so we can help. Okay. Now, there's two great things that have been created by our Florida legal team since 2018. They're now in here. One is the multiple offer form for seller. Is this really a disclosure explaining how the multiple offer process works? You get a listing. You think there's possibly a chance of multiple offers. Today, guys, I think that's pretty much any listing, right? Like, let's be honest. So what you do is you give this to the seller at the time of writing that listing agreement. It is a great explanation of how multiple offers work, what they can and cannot expect, and it's simply a disclosure, but it's really good because it does two things. One, it educates, and two, it's a huge CYA, right? Because we don't want the seller saying, well, you didn't tell me that. Now you did, right? So that's great. The other one, am I saying these are required forms? No. Am I recommending them strongly? Yes. But only if there's a chance you think that there's going to be multiple offers, right? I mean, if you're in the middle of Eustis and your home is $1.5 million, Oh, I don't know. I might still use it today. I don't know. Normally I'd say no way, but I don't know. Today, crazier things have been happening. So now the other one is really important. That is the multiple offers to buyers. You represent the seller. Now I'm calling for highest and best. How are we guys doing that? Are we calling agents? Are we texting them? Are we emailing them? It's whatever is happening is happening. It's a free-for-all right now. Yeah. This is how you call for highest and best. You send this document to the buyer's agent. It explains what the seller is required and not required to accept. They're not required to accept anything. They can still counter. It explains all that in there. It tells them that they're looking at everything fairly and honestly. So you don't get that you didn't send my offer. You didn't. It explains it all. And the seller, the buyer sign it. That's what we want. We want everyone to know everybody is receiving this when we're calling for highest and best. Now, here's the last one. If you are representing, I am representing the seller. Tammy puts an offer, you put in an offer, Rafe puts in an offer, and now I have a buyer, my own buyer. Is it fair that I present all offers, including my buyer? Maybe, maybe not. But in an effort to make sure that the seller, the buyers, the listing agent, the buyer's agent, that everybody feels good about this, call me. I will be happy to present the offers with you. We want them to know this is being done at the most ethical way possible, right? So if you're representing both sides, could there be a thought that you're not going to present their offers equally?
Yeah.
Can they ask you through the code of ethics, in your multiple offers, are you representing any of them, or is your company?
No.
Yes.
They can?
Yes, they can. And by code of ethics, if you're allowed to test, if your seller says you can say it's multiple offers, you have to answer that question.
Oh, yeah. So,
right? If the seller says don't tell anybody it's multiple offers, we don't tell anybody.
right.
But if the seller says you can tell it's multiple offers, and if we're calling for highest and best, we're telling everybody it's multiple offers, right? Which means, I mean, we're screaming it, right? Which means that if you ask me, Carrie, are any of the offers coming from you or your office? I have to answer that by code of ethics.
Okay.
Right? So here is the response. Yes, my office, myself, whomever is going to be presenting offers. So my broker will be presenting the offers to my seller. Now I'll be there with you. I could be on Zoom. I don't really care. But we want to make sure we're doing that because we don't want anybody coming back and saying, you didn't present our offer in the fairest way. And this is a violation of blah, blah, blah. Right? Is it really a code of ethics violation? No. Could it get gray? Yeah. Do I like gray? No. So I'm putting that out there. If you need me to do that. Now, if you have a team like Peter and he's on one side and and Kim's on the other side, would he disclose that? Yes, if he was asked, he'd call for highest and best, which I'm sure he will. But he's not representing both sides. You see what I'm saying? And most people feel comfortable with that, knowing there's another agent representing. It's usually if it's Peter's representing both sides and Beverly's putting hers in and Marie's putting hers in and Tony's putting, and everyone's like, is Peter gonna do mine? Which he will because he's very ethical. But
I just need to make a comment.
Okay, well, comment.
So I lost a deal. I usually win deals. I got the highest and best price wise, 8,000 over the best offer. The buyer wrote in a sappy letter I wanted from the seller. And because I knew I wanted, I was working through, I have a great relationship with listing agents. And they're like, Peter, you got the best offer. I thought I won. I usually win 9 out of 10 times. I will win the buyer's contract if I put one in. And she gave me the phone call. I was telling Jennifer yesterday. I was like, I haven't lost one in years. And that's the so also on my seller side, on our listings, we've seen it many times where they do send a letter and my sellers do accept something because of letters. So if you guys get a sappy letter, tug at the buyer's or seller's heart. That's the way to win it today. I learned the hard way.
Okay, to that point, funny that you mentioned that.
We just had this meeting.
The National Association of Realtors has put out a huge warning on those letters, which they call love letters. And for one reason alone, fair housing, which is ridiculous, but that's where we're at today. So if in the sappy letter from Peter's buyers, it says, oh my gosh, this is the most amazing family room. I can't wait for my little kids to come running down the hallway on Christmas morning and open their presents. I just violated 2 things. I told you I have a family, and I told you I am what my religion is.
Yep.
So,
because only Christians celebrate Christmas.
Well, fair housing will turn it any way they want to. They beat
Like,
Facebook, they're probably gonna beat you. So, so let's not play
But the
fair housing.
letter is coming from.
Okay,
the
thank you.
Buyer, not the agent,
So who gave it to the seller?
the agent.
So here's my point. Don't be the one handing in the letter. I'm not saying don't tell your buyer. Your buyer has free to write whatever they want.
So how do they get
You're a
it?
loose cannon.
You call the listing agent and you say, my buyer would like to submit a letter to your seller. Can I have your seller's email? And they say, no, just send it to me. Okay. But you don't send it.
So if we're that.
Now
agent-
listen, I'm
Without
not,
permission.
if it was handed and nobody saw, I mean, I don't know, there's things around it, but you cannot be shown if there's ever a call because someone's mad. Amanda's mad. She's like, I know I had the higher offer than that.
Well, Peter's
And then-
mad.
Peter's mad. Right. But now he wants a deal because of his sappy letter, right? Which, by the way, do not write your buyer's letters. Like that is the worst violation. Yeah. But so Amanda could call and say, I know something bad happened here. The buyer said, oh, I love this letter. And maybe the letter gets shown. And now this goes to fair housing. And now it could be code of ethics, fair housing, and all this nasty mess, which is ridiculous, guys. But unfortunately, when a market is crazy, people get crazier. So
I have something
there,
to add as well. I had Sunday afternoon, this has never happened to me in 35 years. Sunday afternoon, I did 2 pre-qual letters on the fly. They were for the same property. Neither person got it because it went 35,000 over list price.
Wow.
Only reason I know that is because I happen to know the listing agent. But both people told me what the address, I try to give them what the actual payment's gonna be. And so I said, what's the address? What's the HOA? What are the taxes? So I was like, wait a minute. I was like, oh my God. So it's scary. And FYI, rates are up, guys. They're in the 3s now. So just be careful. And also I'm seeing a ton of homeowners insurance premiums are skyrocketing.
Yes.
It is really starting to eat into what people can afford. Huge.
thank you, Miss Maria Smith from South State Bank. Woo! Okay, one last thing in the dot loop is the buyer seller multiple offer guide. This is from the National Association of Realtors. It is simply a 3-page pamphlet. I recommend you representing a buyer or a seller. You share that with them. It's kind of like the lead-based pamphlet, right? But it's not a requirement, guys, but it's reality. We need to prepare our customers, buyers or sellers, of what kind of a market we're in. And is it better to come from you or in the National Association of Realtors?
Us.
No. Tony's trying to throw me off. Yes, it's better to come from the National Association of Realtors. So that is why I've created that dot loop for you. These are those 2 addendums that I talked about. This is the one for the buyers. This is the one for the sellers. So take a look at them, add them into your vocabulary. If you have any questions on how to, or answer any questions about it, it's really mostly informative. Again, the sellers one is to let them know this is what could and could not happen, what your responsibilities are and are not. And the same thing for the buyers. It's that we are understanding this is multiple offers. We're going to do this professionally and ethically. And just because you're giving in the highest offer doesn't mean it's the best. It's in here. And I love that. Right. And it doesn't talk about the love letters. We're not talking about that. Okay. Florida realtors. I've been watching a lot of economists and everybody's super bullish on the entire year. They really feel like our market will stay strong all year. It's funny that Maria's saying rates are going up. They are seeing some obviously teetering in rates, but to all accounts, every economist that I listened to, including Florida Realtors, including Realtor.com, there's a bunch of them, they were saying that they believe by the end of the year, rates will probably end up somewhere between 3.2 and 3.5. So still good. Does that mean we won't have bumps? Does that mean we don't have to pay attention to it? No, but it means that in general, rates will still stay good, which will help our market even better. Single family homes closed in January this year versus last year is up 18%. Not a surprise, but huge. Condo townhouse sales is also up 24%, guys, almost 25. That's pretty strong. Again, this is January to January, year to year. Interestingly enough, single family new listings are down. This is the lowest the listings have been down, and I don't remember how many years they said, but 10% down is significant. Why? Well, we'll see that in a second. Condo listings are also down 6.9%. This is why. because single family home inventory is down 51%. That's like an all-time low. So people are scared to sell because they don't know where they're going to move, right? So
How much
I
they're
think
gonna have to pay for it over market.
exactly, and pass the appraisal and not caring about inspection. Yeah, exactly. So really what's going to affect change in our market is inventory. Hopefully new builds, we know that builders are putting a lot of permits in the ground. We know that they're going to definitely infuse our market with inventory. But look, if Disney comes to Lake Nona, imagine the influx of more buyers. So we even need more inventory. So I think obviously this is going to be something that we'll be dealing with. This is more of a larger scale problem this month versus probably the last 8 years or so. But again, everything does eventually level out. But this is why I think we're directly seeing that problem, of course, with our listing inventory being so low.
That's throughout the country.
Even this is Florida, but it is
Yeah,
throughout the
but
country, but this is for Florida. And even condominiums are down, our inventory is down 26%, which is usually pretty surprising, right? It's not usually that significantly down. But here's the good news. 15.1% across the state of Florida is the increase in the median sales price from January to January. Guys, the regular is about 7%. You know that, like 7% year over year. We are double the regular year over year. And it is the same in condominiums and townhouses. So these are the things we have to scream to the potential listings to say, we're not making these numbers up. Across the state, you are seeing an increase year over year of 15% in the average sales price. Do you want to take advantage of that? Even if you had to rent for a few months, right? I mean, if you wait, what happens? Now we have inventory. What happens to the seller's market? It goes away, and there went your opportunity to get the most out of your home. So it's really crucial that you know how to explain this to the potential sellers, right? It's about timing. And if we always wait for the perfect timing, you always miss the party, right? That's exactly what happens. You don't want to be too early. You don't want to be too late. So here's a little more micro look. Dr. Phillips, I compared our two zip codes. You can see that the months of supply is down. This is compared to January 2019. So I went back even farther, and you can see how significantly down it is. It's about 2%. And their median sales price has gone up. It has a lot of obviously jumps in it, but it's still going up here in Dr. Phillips. Lake Nona, the inventory is down to 1%. And that's in 1 month supply, excuse me. And that's 32832. That's the 32832 zip code, which is impressive because you would think it would be the 32827, but it's not. I think the 32832 has really sold so much. You can see that there's been a significant increase in sales because they finally caught up in the prices that a lot of people have sold. And now we're out of inventory. And you can see in the price increase, it's not a surprise that 32827 is so dramatically high. And a large part of that is because the things that were over $1 million that were sitting here in Lake Nona are moving. I compared Orange County, the sales over $1 million. Last year at this time, there were sold in the first quarter, about January till now, they sold 68 homes above $1 million in all of Orange County. This year we're at 186 sold above $1 million in Orange County. That is pretty insignificant. So that's not a surprise that we're seeing that. In Claremont, we're down to 5.5 months of inventory. It's insane. And the prices have been continually rising. So, I mean, honestly, guys, inventory listings is where it's at. Anything we can do to help you get listings, that's what our focus is. We're all about the listings. So just wanted to remind you, American, I don't know if anybody's ever done the Great American Realtor Days, ever go to Tallahassee and see our, political system at work, see all the politicians talking about the things that are actually affecting our real estate. Well, this year it's virtual. So if you've never had the opportunity, I always want to go, but I never had time to go up to Tallahassee for 3 days, right? So now it's Monday. You can schedule for it online, and you can schedule and see which specific topics you want to learn about and listen to. And it's the 15th through the 17th. Again, you don't have to be participating in all of it all day. You can pick and choose. They have actually broken it down as to what times and who will be speaking and all that. It's pretty interesting. So if you've never done it, I highly recommend it. try to see if you can't fit at least one in your schedule. It would definitely be worth your while, because to watch really how all of the political activities work with the National Association of Realtors lobbyists and seeing our people in action, it's so incredible, but also seeing the things that are going to affect us down the line. What they're fighting for today is going to affect us tomorrow, maybe not, maybe the next week, or maybe the next year, but it's going to affect us. Like, for example, the ADA. It was 3 years ago, maybe 4, that I remember them screaming from the hilltops about ADA. They're going to go through our websites, and then nothing.
Yes.
Nothing for like years, nothing. And then boom, there we are. They're going through all our websites for ADA compliance. So this is why it's important, if you have the opportunity, to see what kind of things could affect us later on, so that we can be proactive and be prepared, right? So it's just a great opportunity. So at the end of the meeting, let's talk about what it looked like for us in February. Dr. Phillips, we wrote 17.7 million in new sales. So let me say, that's Jaime, Maria, Tracy, Denise, Janice, Janet, Bruno, Susie, Pippa, Jules Canaro, Emily, Kelly, Alejandro, Luz, Carolyn Vanderzeit, and Carolyn Virgil, Chris and Julie, Jen Harney, Carrie Bellish, Mark Shavely, Angie Platten, Mitchell lost 2 sales in her first week, Ash Sharma, and Gary Walmsley. Woo! We closed 6.3, thanks to Jules, Andrea, nice Andrea, Enline, nice. Luz Colina, Teresa, Pippa, Maria, Linda, Fu, Elsie Benitez, Carolyn Vanderzeit, and Tammy Schuster, woo girl, Ash Sharma, Daniela Galval, Marcelo Santos, Robin Boku, Sharon Brandt, Genesis Diaz, Janet Allen, Kelly Thompson, Wendy and Art Fisher. Welcome to the team, Wendy and Art, and Nick Baker. Nice. And we listed 6.4 million. Lynn Lou, Wendy and Art, Janet and Janice, Carla, Ben Hillman, which is not even showing his latest and greatest. Is Ben Hillman on? If you're on, Ben, come on. Okay. He's got the Shaquille O'Neal listing. It's coming back. Not showing in those numbers because that's coming in at 16.5 million. So, woo! Maria de Gallego, Pippa, Ash Sharma, Gary Wellesley, and Lori Cook. Nice job, guys. All right, moving on to Claremont. Whew, new sales. Dawn, Janet, and Karen have been busy. 3.6 million. Woo! They closed 2.2 million. Dawn, Janet, and Val. And listings? Dawn, you never see her. She's running all the time. And Dawn and Janet. Nice job, guys. And Lake Nona and Ocala. Yes, you see it. $23.1 million in new sales. So we got Tasha Osborne, Peter Liu, Kim Horvath, Tatiani, Luciana, Fran and Alex, Jason Lewis, Wendy Stevenson, Ashley, Hunter Spink, Sada Gulliver, Rainey, Shane, Barbara Ashley Jones, Mike Keene, and Miranda Katie. Woohoo! We closed 18 million. Woo! We got some people. If you need to get a loan, we got Ashley, we got Tasha, we got Hunter, Rhea, Don Mendez, Mike Keene, Jeannie Green, Shane Carson, Peter Liu, Kim Horvath, Tatiani Ponte, Luciana Nevelef, Jason Lewis Roman, Cindy Parker, Mika Jackson, John Linaw, and Fran and Alex Goldflush. Woo! Just to keep us busy, we got $7.6 million in new listings, which will probably be sold by tomorrow. So we need another 7.6. But that is Tasha, Ashley, Peter Lou, Seda, Tatiani, Luciana, and Fran and Alex, and Mike Keene. Guys, amazing job. I'm so thrilled to say, as usual, you guys never stop surprising me with what you're capable of doing. This is not an easy market. It is not for the faint of heart. Every day, as a matter of fact, it's so funny. I got called by the board. Aura's like, please, Carrie, please, can you do another new member orientation? We have so many new members because everyone's like, oh, I got to get a real estate license. I got to get in this, right? But are they going to have any luck in this market? Those poor things. So this is not a market for somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. Right. You guys are out there succeeding every day because your level of experience and professionalism, and we are here to help you with every step of the way. So if there's anything we can do for you, we are here. We thank you, and we are happy to see you again soon. So thanks for joining.
Thank you.